My name is Bella. I'm 28 years old. My belly is already huge. And in 3 months, my baby will be born. This afternoon I went for a prenatal checkup, and the doctor told me the baby is healthy. On my way home, I thought about giving Mike a surprise. He'd been saying work was getting really busy, and I figured maybe we could have a nice dinner together. When I opened the front door with my key, something felt off. There were 2 pairs of shoes in the living room. One was Mike's black leather shoes, and the other was a pair of red high heels. Mike had never bought me heels like that. Then I heard sounds coming from the bedroom. My husband Mike, and a woman's laughter. I pushed the door open gently, still holding the tiny baby socks I bought earlier. Mike and Chloe were on the bed. Chloe, Mike's boss, a very beautiful woman I'd met once at a company party. Mike's face went pale the moment he saw me. Chloe, however, smiled. She calmly sat up and pulled the blanket over herself. "Oh, Bella's home," she said, like it was some kind of joke. "Look at you, with that big belly. Must be hard to walk." "Huh?" I felt the blood in my whole body turn cold. "Bella, I can explain." Mike tried to get off the bed. "Explain what?" Chloe cut him off. "Bella, you should look in the mirror. Pregnancy ruined your figure. And those spots on your face, what man would still want a woman like that?" I wanted to charge at her, drag her off my bed, but my belly was so heavy, my movements so slow. Mike jumped off the bed and grabbed my arm. "Don't do this, Bella," he said. "We can talk." "Talk?" My voice was trembling. "On my bed? With your boss?" Mike started saying things I couldn't even process, about work pressure. That Chloe understood him. That I only cared about the baby. Every word slapped him harder than it slapped me. Oddly, I didn't cry. My heart felt like it had been shredded, but I didn't shed a single tear. I took a deep breath and looked Mike right in the eyes. This was the man I loved for 5 years, now a complete stranger. "I have something to say," I said, surprisingly calm. I walked slowly to the living room and took out a folder from my bag. Mike and Chloe followed. Chloe was already dressed, wearing that smug little smile again. I placed the folder on the table and opened it. "This is our prenuptial agreement," I said. "Section 7, if either party cheats, that person leaves with nothing. The house, the savings, everything, all go to the other party." Mike's face turned even whiter. Chloe's smile disappeared. I gently rubbed my belly. The baby kicked. "Now," I said, "we can talk." Mike's face turned as white as a sheet. His lips trembled. Chloe was the first to react. She let out a cold laugh. "A prenup?" she scoffed. "Bella, you really think something like that will hold up? Who's going to believe you?" I didn't answer her. Instead, I slowly took out my tablet from my bag. My hands were steady, perfectly steady. "Last month on the 15th, I said as I tapped the screen and turned it toward them, "you told me you had to work late." On the screen was the company's security footage. It clearly showed Mike and Chloe leaving the office at 4:08 p.m. Chloe was holding onto Mike's arm. Mike's eyes widened. How did you get company surveillance footage?" "Keep watching," I said. I swiped to the next photo. It was taken through a restaurant window. Mike and Chloe were kissing. The timestamp at the bottom right corner read, 3 weeks ago, Friday night. "You said you were meeting a client that night," I said calmly. "But that restaurant is 2 blocks from our house. I saw you while I was out for a walk." Chloe's face flushed. "You were stalking us?" "And the emails," I said, opening another folder. "Every work meeting you sent to Mike were actually dates." I backed them all up. I tapped one email titled Quarterly Report Discussion. Inside, it read, "Meet at our usual spot. I miss you." The room went silent. So silent I could hear my heartbeat pounding, thump, thump, thump. Suddenly, Chloe rushed toward me as if to grab the tablet, but I pulled it back faster than she expected. She stumbled and almost fell. "Delete them. Delete everything," she screamed. I pressed the record button on my phone. "MS. Chloe," I said calmly. "Just now you said cheating makes things more exciting. Could you repeat that? I want to make sure it's recorded clearly." Chloe froze. For the first time, real fear flashed in her eyes. Mike finally found his voice. "Bella, I messed up. I know I messed up. It was her, she seduced me. I was just confused." "Just confused?" I cut him off. "You've been confused since our 2nd year of marriage. And in the past 6 months while I've been pregnant, you two have met 43 times. Is that what you call confusion?" Mike opened his mouth, but nothing came out. I slowly put everything back into my bag and zipped it up. I did this very slowly, like a slow-motion scene in a movie. I've been waiting, I said. Waiting for you both to mess up so badly you can't climb out of it. Mike stared at me. You knew all along? I nodded. My hand rested on my belly. The baby kicked again, as if reacting to the tension. I knew from the first time you held hands. I said. I bought cameras. Hired a private investigator. Saved all the evidence. I knew one day you'd give me exactly what I needed. Chloe collapsed onto the couch. Her perfectly styled hair was a mess now. I picked up my bag and walked to the door. Before leaving, I turned back and looked at them one last time. Thank you, I said softly, for giving me all the evidence I needed. The door closed behind me with a click, sealing their fear and shock inside. The hallway was quiet. My heels clicked against the floor, sharp, steady, like a countdown. I stayed in a hotel room for 3 days. The room was on the 16th floor, with huge windows overlooking the city. At night, the city lights were beautiful, but I wasn't in the mood to admire anything. My phone kept buzzing. Not from Mike. I didn't answer a single one of his calls. The messages were from friends. Bella, are you okay? I saw that article. Unbelievable. Do you need help? What article? My hands trembled a little as I opened my social feed. The first notification froze me in place. Title: Confessions of a Working Woman, How I Was Followed and Blackmailed by a Pregnant Wife. The post was written by Chloe. Her profile picture showed her looking tired, eyes red as if she'd been crying. The article was long. She described herself as an independent career woman who worked hard for years to become a department head. She claimed Mike was just a colleague, that they were close because of work. She said Bella, became paranoid because of pregnancy hormones, that I followed her everywhere, took photos of her in secret, and even threatened her job. I understand pregnant women can be emotional, she wrote, but I didn't expect to be treated like this. She even found out where I live and waited outside my house all night. It was all lies. But people believed her. The comments were brutal. Being pregnant doesn't give you special privileges. She can't control her husband, so she blames other women. Team Chloe, arrest the crazy one. My hands shook, not from fear, but from anger. Scrolling down, I saw even more reposts. Someone dug up my old social media photos, my wedding photos, my travel pictures, and plastered them everywhere with hateful comments under them. She's not even pretty. No wonder he cheated. Pregnant and still wearing makeup, desperate much? What a manipulative woman. My phone vibrated again. This time it was the company group chat. They were discussing me. Someone tagged HR. Shouldn't the company investigate the employee's wife for harassing a supervisor? A few seconds later, someone from HR replied, "We're looking into it." I felt my breathing quicken. The baby kicked hard, reminding me to breathe slowly. I forced myself to inhale deeply, exhale slowly. Stay calm, Bella. Stay calm. I opened my laptop and started organizing the evidence: security footage, photos, email backups, audio recordings. I categorized everything and labeled them neatly. Working helped me stay focused. Working made me feel like myself again. Near evening, my phone buzzed with a news alert. #pregnancy emotional outburst trending at number 3. My heart sank. The topic mentioned Chloe's article and quoted experts discussing emotional instability during pregnancy. Some said the right things, that pregnant women needed more care. But under that trending topic, I was the villain. Some pregnant women weaponize their condition. This is why emotional instability is dangerous. People like Bella give pregnant women a bad name. Night came, and I sat alone in the dark, not turning on the lights. I stared at the city outside. I remembered something my mother told me when I was little. Bella, the world is harsh toward women. No matter how good you are, someone will find a problem. The only thing you can do is be stronger than them. My phone rang again. A strange number. I hesitated, then answered. Is this MS? Bella? A man asked. His voice was formal. We're reporters from the Daily Metro. We'd like to interview you regarding the incident with Chloe. I hung up. A minute later, another unknown number called. I shut off my phone. The room became completely silent. Too silent. I could hear my heartbeat, the air conditioner, and even the city faintly humming in the distance. Then I heard it, a knock. Soft, steady. I glanced at the time, 10:47 p.m. I hadn't ordered food. No one knew I was here. The knocking came again, faster this time. I walked slowly to the door and looked through the peephole. A man stood there, wearing dark clothes. I couldn't see his face clearly. He held something in his hand. He lifted it toward the peephole. It looked like a badge, but I couldn't read it from this distance. MS. Bella, he said through the door, his voice muffled. I know you're inside. We need to talk. I held my breath. He waited a few seconds. Then he knocked again. This time, he didn't say anything. I stared through the peephole without making a sound. A few seconds later, the man finally turned and walked away. His footsteps faded down the hallway toward the elevator. I slid down against the door to the floor. My hands were trembling slightly. The baby kicked again, as if asking me, Mom, what's happening? It's okay, I whispered, unsure whether I was comforting the baby or myself. Mommy will protect you. I barely slept that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Chloe's lies, the hateful comments, Mike's pale face, and that strange man in the hallway. At around 3 a.m., I sat up again. The room was dark except for the faint light seeping through the curtains. I wanted a glass of water. Just as I was about to get up, I heard it. Footsteps. Soft, slow, deliberate, stopping right outside my door. I froze. Barefoot, I stepped quietly onto the carpet and approached the door again. I looked through the peephole. It was Chloe. She was still wearing the same professional outfit from earlier that day, but her hair was messy, and her makeup was smudged. Her shoulders were trembling as if she'd been crying. She was acting. I knew it instantly. But who was she performing for? No one else was on this floor. Just as I wondered what she was up to, she lifted her head. Her face was clean. No tears. No panic. Her expression was cold. Calculated. She took out her phone and started speaking toward my door. Her voice was low, but I could still make it out. Bella, I know you're inside, she said. Open the door. We need to talk. I didn't move. After a moment, she smirked. It's fine if you don't open, she whispered. I can wait. I'll wait when you go downstairs for a checkup. I'll wait when you go out to eat. After all, everyone already thinks you're an emotionally unstable pregnant woman, right? The whole internet knows. My fists clenched. What do you want? I asked through the door. Chloe's eyes lit up when she heard my voice. Finally speaking? She said. It's simple. Withdraw your accusations. Delete all your evidence. Post a statement saying you misunderstood everything. Then quietly divorce Mike and don't ask for anything. Why would I? Because I can destroy you. Chloe hissed. You're pregnant and vulnerable. What if you slip on the stairs? What if you eat something you shouldn't? What if you lose control of your emotions and do something stupid? A chill crawled up my spine. You're threatening me? I'm just stating facts, she said lightly. People already think you're unstable. If anything happens, no one will question it. They'll just say you were too fragile. My breathing quickened, not from fear this time, but rage. You know I can hear every word? I said. I'm recording. Chloe paused. Then she laughed, a cold, mocking laugh. Record it. Go ahead. Who do you think they'll believe? She asked. An unstable pregnant woman? Or me, the victim? She stepped closer, pressing her face near the door. You've already lost, Bella. You lost the moment you decided to be a stay-at-home wife depending on a man. Mike is mine. His job is mine. Even your reputation, it's mine now. Just then, footsteps echoed from the far end of the hallway. Heavy, measured, steady. Chloe whirled around. I looked through the peephole. A man stepped out of the shadows of the corridor. Tall, in a dark suit, his face partially hidden by the dim lights. Chloe took a step back. Who are you? He didn't answer her. He walked straight up to my door and stopped in front of Chloe. Repeat what you just said, the man said. His voice was low, calm, yet carried an undeniable authority. Chloe opened her mouth. No sound came out. I heard everything, the man continued. Threatening a pregnant woman, endangering an unborn child. That's enough to put you behind bars. Chloe's knees buckled, and she dropped to the floor. You're lying. I didn't. Shall I pull the hotel security footage? He asked quietly. This floor's cameras capture audio. Chloe's face drained of color. The man didn't even look at her again. He turned toward me. I finally saw his face clearly, sharp, unreadable, intense. He knocked gently. Bella, he said softly. Open the door. I'm here to help you. My sweat-slicked hand rested on the door handle. My hand hovered on the handle, slick with sweat. The man outside didn't knock again. He simply waited, silent, patient, steady. Chloe was still collapsed on the floor like a pile of rags. I took a deep breath and finally turned the handle. The door opened. The man stood there, framed by the dim hallway light. He was tall, striking, the kind of man whose presence filled a space without trying. But what stunned me most were his eyes. They were watching me with a strange mix of things: concern, calculation, and something I couldn't name. "You," my voice was hoarse. "Who are you?" Instead of answering, he glanced at Chloe. "Get up," he said. His tone wasn't loud, but it carried force, enough to jolt Chloe like an electric shock. She staggered to her feet, clinging to the wall for balance. "Leave." He spoke only one word, and Chloe ran. No dignity, no threats, no false tears, she simply fled toward the elevator, heels thudding awkwardly against the carpet. Then it was just the two of us. "Thank you," I said, "but you still haven't told me who you are." "My name is Liam," he said finally. "As for who I am," he paused. "May I come in? We should talk." I hesitated, then stepped aside. Liam entered the room with quiet confidence, as if he belonged there. He scanned the space briefly, his eyes lingering for a second on the stack of prenatal magazines on the sofa, before turning back to me. "Are you all right?" he asked. I wanted to say yes, but the word wouldn't come. The past few days crashed over me like a wave. My eyes burned, but I refused to cry. Not in front of this stranger. "Why did you help me?" I asked. "How did you know I was here? And how do you know my name?" Liam didn't answer right away. He walked to the window and looked out at the city lights. The glow outlined his jaw, sharp and tense. "Chloe isn't your only problem," he said. "Mike is downstairs in the lobby. He's coming up." My heart lurched. "What?" Before I could process it, bang, bang, bang. The door shook under frantic pounding. Bella, open up. "I know you're in there." Mike's voice. I looked at Liam. He nodded once. I opened the door. Mike stood outside, hair disheveled, eyes bloodshot. When he saw me, he lunged, grabbing my shoulders. "Bella, don't do this to me. You can't use that evidence, you can't." He stopped mid-sentence, because he finally saw Liam standing inside the room. Mike froze. Confusion, fear, jealousy, all of it flashed across his face. "Who the hell are you?" Mike shouted. "What are you doing in my wife's room?" Liam turned slowly to face him. "Your wife?" Liam repeated, his tone icy. "You sure about that?" Mike's face twitched. "What is that supposed to mean?" Liam didn't answer him. He looked at me instead, not with softness, but with something serious, heavy. "Bella," he said quietly, "you deserve to know the truth." My stomach tightened. "What truth?" Liam walked toward me. His eyes flicked briefly to my belly, round, obvious, impossible to ignore. Then he looked at Mike. "The child," Liam said, each word sharp enough to cut, "isn't yours. And you know that, don't you?" The room went dead silent. I could hear the hum of the air conditioner, the faint noise of traffic outside, and my own heartbeat hammering painfully. Mike's face contorted. No. He's lying. Bella, he's lying. Right? The baby is mine. He's mine. Liam didn't even look at him. He spoke calmly, like stating a fact. "If you truly believed that, Mike, you wouldn't have panicked when the doctor mentioned the due date." Mike's breath hitched. "Due date is in December," Liam continued. "Anyone who actually calculated the conception date would notice Bella was out of town on a business trip that entire week." My mind went blank. Business trip? Yes. I'd been away for a week. That was the last trip before I became pregnant. "And you, Mike," Liam said, "were celebrating Chloe's birthday at the time." No, the word escaped my lips without me realizing. "Liam, what are you saying?" Liam stepped closer, eyes locked on mine. "The night at the hotel," he said softly. "The night you thought you were with Mike, you weren't." My legs weakened. Liam looked straight at me. It was me. The hallway elevator dinged in the distance. Footsteps approached, but none of it mattered. My world was tilting. Liam reached out, as if to steady me, but stopped midway, his hand hanging in the air. "You understand now," he said quietly, "why I'm here." I stared at him, at the man whose face blurred as dizziness swallowed my vision. One question slipped out before everything went dark. "You knew all along?" Liam nodded, and the world faded. I woke up to find myself lying in bed. Only the bedside lamp was on, its light soft and warm. I blinked a few times, needing a moment to remember what had happened. Liam was sitting in a chair by the bed, quietly watching me. His posture was perfectly straight, almost like a soldier. "You fainted," he said. "The doctor came by. You and the baby are fine, just overwhelmed." I slowly sat up, leaning against the headboard. My head still felt a little light. "Where's Mike?" I asked. "He left." Liam's voice was calm. "I told him to." I stared at him. In the dim light, his face looked sharp, his eyes bright like stars in the night. But I knew they weren't stars, they were deep, unfathomable water. "Why?" I asked. "Why did you do all this? Why did you make me pregnant?" Liam didn't answer right away. He stood, poured a glass of water, and handed it to me. The movement was so natural, like we'd known each other for years. "Have some water," he said. I took it, but didn't drink. "Answer me." Liam sat again. His hands were folded on his knees, a posture that made him look both restrained and powerful. "If I said it was to protect you," he said slowly, "would you believe me? Protect me?" I almost laughed. "By doing this? Making me carry a stranger's child and destroying my marriage, is that protection?" "Your marriage was already destroyed," Liam said calmly. "Mike and Chloe have been together for 2 years. Even without me, they wouldn't have stopped. And you would have stayed in the dark until the day he suddenly asked for a divorce. You would have lost everything." My fingers tightened around the glass, the water trembling. "So you just made the decision for me?" My voice shook. "Who gave you that right?" "I know more than you do," Liam said. "I know Mike embezzled company funds. I know Chloe has people backing her. And I know that if things followed their original path, you'd lose more than just your marriage." The air in the room seemed to freeze. "What do you mean?" I heard myself ask. "Mike's company is under investigation," Liam said. "Some of the money he stole was spent on luxury gifts for Chloe. If it comes out, as his wife, your assets would be frozen too. But now," he glanced at my stomach, "because you're pregnant, and with proof he cheated, you can walk away clean." I stared at him, stunned. Pieces began falling into place. Mike had been talking about money problems lately, but he and Chloe still ate at expensive restaurants. Her bags and watches were far beyond what a department manager could afford. "You planned all of this," I said. "Ever since that night." Liam nodded. "The hotel that night wasn't an accident," I said. "You made me think you were Mike." "Not entirely." For the first time, he looked away. "I needed to get close to you, but you were drunk and mistook me for your husband." I could have explained, but I didn't. "Why?" My voice was barely above a whisper. Liam looked back at me. His eyes were deep, complicated. "Because the first time I saw you was 3 years ago at an industry conference," he said. "You were on stage presenting a design, confident, bright, like you were glowing. And Mike, sitting beside me, was busy sending flirty messages to Chloe." My throat tightened. "I looked into you," Liam admitted. "I knew your marriage was falling apart. I knew your career was being held back by your home life. I knew you were stronger than you seemed. And I knew you deserved better. So you decided to give me this better by messing up my life?" I snapped. "By getting me pregnant and throwing everything into chaos?" "The pregnancy was an accident," Liam said. "But I don't regret it. It gave me a legitimate reason to protect you." "Protect?" I shook my head. "This is control. How are you any different from Mike? You both make choices for me because you think you know what's best." Liam fell silent. After a long time, he said, "You're right. I hadn't expected that. But I won't apologize." He added, "Because without me, Chloe would have already cornered you. The trending searches, the rumors, the threats, they were all predictable. And I'm prepared to deal with all of it." He took a USB drive from his inner pocket and placed it on the bedside table. "These are the records of Chloe taking kickbacks, plus her inappropriate emails with senior executives. Enough to get her fired and prosecuted." Then he set down a folder. "These are the detailed records of Mike's embezzlement. I've already sent them anonymously to the audit department. They'll start the investigation tomorrow." I stared at the items, feeling like they were explosives. "You've been watching everyone," I said. "I've been protecting you," Liam corrected. "What's the difference?" I asked. He didn't answer. He stood, walked to the window, and faced away from me. "You can hate me," he said, "but let me finish what I started. Once all the threats are gone, once you and the baby are safe, I'll leave. If you want, I'll sign whatever's needed to give up all rights to the child." My hand instinctively moved to my stomach. The baby shifted a little, as if protesting. Does the baby know? I whispered. That their life started as part of a plan? Liam's back stiffened. He doesn't, he said, voice rough. But someday, if you want to tell him the truth, I won't stop you. Outside, the city was approaching dawn. The sky shifted from deep black to navy blue, a few stars still hanging on, soon to vanish. Liam turned to face me. Morning light streamed into the room, outlining his silhouette. You have two choices, he said. Accept my protection and let me handle this, or refuse me and face everything on your own. I was about to speak when a phone rang. Not mine, Liam's. He glanced at the screen, frowning. The caller ID read unknown number. Liam answered without a word, just listening. A few seconds later, his expression changed. He hung up and strode over to me, eyes harder than I'd ever seen. Pack up, he said. We have to leave, now. Why? Chloe's people have found me. Liam helped me with my coat as he spoke. They know I'm helping you. That call was a warning. Who was it? Liam slid the coat onto me. His hands were steady. Quick. Doesn't matter, he said. What matters is that you're in real danger now. He shoved the USB drive and folder into my bag, zipped it up, and grabbed my hand. His hand was big, warm, and firm. Trust me, one last time, he said, locking eyes with me. The elevator dinged in the hallway. Not one elevator. Several. Liam pulled me toward the emergency exit. The moment we stepped into the stairwell, I heard hurried footsteps in the corridor, and a man's voice, split up, she has to be on this floor. The door clicked shut behind us, sealing everything out. In the darkness, Liam's hand didn't let go, and I didn't know if his hand was my salvation or dragging me further into the abyss. The stairwell was dim, lit only by the green exit sign. He guided me down quickly. His steps were light, nearly silent. Mine echoed through the empty stairwell. Slow down, I whispered, one hand shielding my stomach. I can't move that fast. Liam immediately slowed, but never let go. His palm enveloped mine, warm, strong, impossible to escape. We descended 3 floors and stopped at the 13th. Liam pushed the emergency door open, peeked outside, then quickly closed it. Someone's in the hallway, he murmured. My heart raced. Who? Looks like security, but not exactly. Liam frowned. Plain clothes, but their posture is professional. He pulled out his phone, typed a few lines, then put it away. I called people to meet us, he said, but it'll take some time. Your people? I asked. He nodded. Suddenly, exhaustion hit me. I slid against the cold wall, sitting on the stairs. The past few days played in my mind like a movie. Betrayal, evidence, trending news, threats, and the truths Liam had forced me to face. Tired? Liam crouched down, level with my eyes. I didn't answer, just stared at him. In the dim light, his eyes looked even deeper. When the baby is born, I whispered, will you really leave? Liam's expression softened for a brief second, then returned to calm. If that's what you want, does it even matter what I want? I smiled bitterly. Since that night, you've never asked me what I wanted. He was silent for a moment. You're right, he finally said. I was wrong, but the one thing I don't regret is helping you leave Mike. The stairwell was quiet, far off. I heard an elevator moving and a door closing somewhere above. Suddenly, Liam's phone vibrated. He glanced at it, his face hardening. We need to keep moving, he said, standing and helping me up. They're searching the stairwell. No sooner had I stood than I heard footsteps above. Many people. Coming down. Liam pulled me onward. Floor 10, 9, 8. My legs weakened. Breath quickened. Keep going. Liam's voice was steady, almost to the parking garage, but on the 6th floor. Sounds came from below. Found them? Not yet, but they're around here. People were coming both up and down. We were trapped in the middle. Liam stopped, scanning the area. His expression was calm, but his eyes flashed a look I'd never seen, like a soldier spotting danger. He pushed open the 6th floor emergency door and pulled me into the hallway. It was long, lined with hotel rooms. Thick carpet muffled our footsteps. We had taken only a few steps when the door behind us burst open. A group poured out. Leading them was Mike, eyes bloodshot, hair messy. Next to him, Chloe, pale but fierce, her gaze deadly. Behind them, men in black suits, looking very dangerous. Bella, Mike shouted. "You're not going anywhere." Liam immediately shielded me with his broad back. "Step aside," Chloe screamed. "This is our private matter, none of your business." Liam didn't say a word. He just stood there. He didn't make a move. Yet the men in black didn't dare step forward. "Who do you think you are?" Mike's voice trembled. "What gives you the right to take my wife?" "Wife?" Liam's voice was ice cold. "Do you even remember how to spell that word?" At that moment, the elevator doors at the other end of the hall opened. Another group stepped out. This time, 3 people in dark gray suits, 2 men, 1 woman. They looked completely different, professional, capable, carrying briefcases. Leading them was a man in his 50s, gray-haired, wearing gold-rimmed glasses. Chloe went pale as soon as she saw them. "Director Wang," she stammered. Director Wang didn't look at her. He walked straight toward us, his eyes scanning Liam first, then me. "Ms. Bella?" His voice was steady. "I'm Wang Ziyuan, Director of Internal Investigations. We need to speak with you." "About what?" Liam stepped in front of me, pushing up his glasses. Wang said, "Regarding your husband Mike's suspected embezzlement, and Ms. Chloe receiving kickbacks and leaking company secrets." He glanced at Chloe. "We have received detailed evidence." Chloe's knees buckled. If she hadn't grabbed the wall, she would have fallen. Mike was completely frozen. What evidence?" "I didn't, an anonymous tip, including bank statements and email screenshots." Wang interrupted. "Amounts, dates, people involved, it's all there." The hallway went suddenly, uncomfortably silent. 3 sides stood off, a shattered Mike and Chloe, the terrifyingly professional investigation team, and Liam blocking me. I stood behind Liam, watching it all unfold. Wang's gaze returned to me. "Ms. Bella, as Mike's wife, you may need to cooperate with our investigation." "Of course." He paused. "If you can provide additional information, we can consider your special circumstances." "Special circumstances?" I asked. "You're pregnant, and you're a victim of your husband's infidelity," Wang said. "These factors will be taken into account in the proceedings." Liam tilted his head slightly, speaking just for me to hear. "Don't agree," but Wang heard him. He looked at Liam, eyes narrowing behind his glasses. "Sir, may I ask who you are?" Liam didn't answer. Wang continued. "According to our preliminary investigation, the anonymous evidence sent to us, the IP addresses were masked several times. But the final source," he paused, "points to a place we are very interested in." He took a step forward. "Can you tell me your connection to Deep Blue Capital?" Liam's back stiffened. It was only for a moment, but I felt it. "Deep Blue Capital," Wang repeated, savoring the words. "The investment company that suddenly started acquiring shares in our group 3 months ago." He looked sharply at Liam. "And you, Mr. Liam, happen to be the actual controller of that company, correct?" All eyes fixed on Liam. Chloe's eyes went wide. Mike's jaw dropped. Even the men in black looked surprised. The air in the hallway seemed to freeze. Everyone's gaze was on Liam. Yet he stood firm, like a mountain. I stood behind him, feeling the tension in his back muscles. But his voice was terrifyingly calm. "Who I am doesn't matter," Liam said to Wang. "What matters is that the evidence is real, isn't it?" Wang pushed up his glasses but didn't deny it. "Embezzlement, kickbacks, leaking secrets," Liam said deliberately, word by word. "That evidence is enough to put these 2 away for years." Mike went pale as paper. Chloe suddenly screamed. "It's you! You set me up!" "Set you up?" Liam finally turned to face them. His gaze was icy, so cold it made me shiver. "The luxury receipts? You issued them yourself. The flirtatious emails? You sent them yourself. The kickbacks? You took them yourself. How did I set you up?" Chloe gaped, speechless. Mike lunged for my arm. "Bella, help me." For all these years of marriage, Liam stepped in front of me. Mike collided with him like hitting a brick wall. "Marriage?" Liam's voice dripped with contempt. "Do you even deserve to say that word?" "This is our business," Mike yelled. "None of your concern." "Now it is my concern," Liam said. "Because starting today, no one in this company, no department, can touch her." Wang furrowed his brow. "Mr. Liam, while you're a shareholder, you have no authority to interfere with an internal investigation." "I am not interfering," Liam said, turning to him. "I am only ensuring that innocent people aren't affected." Bella knew nothing about Mike's actions. She's a victim, not an accomplice. We need her cooperation. She can cooperate. Liam interrupted. With my lawyer present, the hallway fell silent again. Only the faint hum of the central air conditioning could be heard. Chloe suddenly laughed. It was harsh, unpleasant, crow-like. Bella, do you really think you've won? Her eyes went mad. You just traded one man for another. Do you really think he loves you? He only wants the child in your belly. Once it's born, you'll be useless. I felt Liam's body stiffen, but this time, I didn't hide behind him. I gently pushed his hand aside and stepped out from behind him. Everyone's eyes were on me. Mike, Chloe, Director Wang, the men in black, and Liam. I took a deep breath and placed my hand on my stomach. The baby moved, as if lending me strength. Chloe, I said, looking her in the eyes. You were right. She froze. I did move from one man to another. I continued. From Mike to Liam. They both wanted to control me. Both thought they knew what was best for me. Liam opened his mouth to speak, but I raised a hand to stop him. Mr. Wang. I turned to the investigation team. I will cooperate, but only with my own lawyer present. Not because Liam said so, but because I know it's my right. Director Wang nodded, a hint of approval in his eyes. Finally, I looked at Mike. He stood there like a child caught doing something wrong. I had loved him once, for 5 years. But now, looking at him, I only felt pity. Mike, my voice was calm. We will divorce. According to the prenuptial agreement, you walk away with nothing. Custody of the child is mine, and you'll pay monthly child support. If you don't agree, I paused. We'll see each other in court. The evidence I have is enough to make you lose badly. Mike's lips trembled, but he couldn't say a word. And you? I finally looked at Liam. Thank you for helping me, but I need time to think, to figure things out. Liam stared at me, his gaze complex, surprised, worried, and something I couldn't read. You're sure? He asked. I nodded. Then, suddenly, Chloe lunged forward. Somehow, she had grabbed a glass ashtray, probably from a hallway decoration. I'm finished, she screamed. You won't be happy either. Everything happened in an instant. The ashtray flew toward my head. Liam moved to block it, but someone was faster. The young female investigator next to Director Wang stepped forward, grabbed Chloe's wrist, and in one swift move, pinned her to the ground. The ashtray hit the carpet with a dull thud. The whole thing took less than 3 seconds. The investigator looked up at me and smiled. Don't worry, I've trained in judo. I looked at Chloe, still struggling and screaming, but no one was listening anymore. Director Wang sighed. Take her away. Call the police. 2 male investigators stepped forward and lifted Chloe. She stopped yelling and started crying, uncontrollably. Mike watched everything, his legs giving out as he collapsed to the floor. Director Wang approached me. Ms. Bella, rest for today. Tomorrow at 10 in the morning, we'll have the formal interview. Is that okay? I nodded. The investigation team left with Chloe. Mike was helped up and escorted away. The men in black glanced at Liam, received a look from him, and quietly retreated. Now, only Liam and I remained in the hallway. The elevator doors opened and closed in the distance, taking all the chaos and screams away. Liam looked at me for a long time. Then he asked, "Come with me?" His voice was soft, almost a whisper. I looked up, meeting his eyes, those deep eyes, hiding too many secrets. I knew that if I nodded, he would protect me, solve everything, give me and the baby the best life. But I would still be the protected one. From Mike's protection to Liam's protection, I took a deep breath and shook my head. I'll go alone. Liam's eyes widened slightly. For the first time, I saw true surprise on his face. I'll handle my divorce, face the investigation, give birth to my baby, start my new life, my way. It will be hard, he said. I know. I smiled, the first time feeling a light, easy smile. But this is the path I chose. Liam fell silent. His gaze lingered on my stomach, then returned to my face. Finally, he smiled too. Not the controlling smile he usually wore, but one of relief. Okay, he said. I respect your choice. He took a business card from his pocket and placed it in my hand. If you ever need help, call this. Anytime. I took the card and nodded. Liam gave me one last look, then turned and walked toward the elevator. His back was still straight, but his steps seemed lighter. The elevator doors opened. He stepped inside. 1 second before the doors closed, he looked back at me. Then the doors shut, taking him away. I stood alone in the hallway, hand on my stomach. The baby moved again, this time energetically, as if saying, "Mom, we're free." Yes, we were free. True freedom isn't being protected by someone else, it's protecting yourself. I turned and walked back into the room. The door closed behind me, shutting the world out. The next morning, sunlight filtered through the curtains. I woke, but didn't open my eyes immediately. I felt the baby moving gently, as if saying good morning. Then I felt myself. No fear, no panic, not even much sadness, just a strange, peaceful calm. I sat up and pulled back the curtains. From the 16th floor, the whole city spread out beneath me. It was 7 in the morning. Cars were starting to fill the streets. People beginning a new day. It was time for me to start mine. I grabbed my phone and called my mom. She picked up immediately, her voice full of worry. "Bella? Sweetheart, are you okay? I saw the news, those people are lying." "Mom, I'm fine." I interrupted, my voice calmer than I expected. "Really, I have something to tell you. But trust me, I can handle it." There was a pause on the other end. "You sound different," she said. "Because I've made a decision." I said, "I'm divorcing. I'm having this baby on my own. I'm starting over." Another long silence. Then I heard her sniffle. "Good, that's my daughter. What do you need me to do?" "Not for now," I said. "But I need a new place to live. I can't stay in hotels forever. There's a small apartment at home that's been empty," she said immediately. 2 bedrooms. Close to the hospital. Secure. I'll go get it ready this afternoon." My eyes suddenly felt hot. "Mom, don't cry," she said. "No crying while pregnant. I'll pick you up this afternoon." After hanging up, I opened my laptop and got to work. First task, contact a lawyer. Not the one Liam had introduced, but my own, my college friend's sister, who specialized in divorce cases. We had a 30-minute video call, and I laid out everything. "The prenup is very clear," Lawyer Lee said on screen. "Plus the evidence you have, Mike has almost no chance. But we need to file formally, go through the legal process." "How long will it take?" "Fast, 3 months. Slow, 6, she said. "But you can start with separation, and freeze assets immediately." "Okay," I said. "One more thing, the child's custody." "No worries there," Lawyer Lee smiled. "Infidelity during pregnancy and financial issues? The judge won't give him custody. And," she paused, "you're sure the child is, it's mine?" I interrupted. "Biologically or not. This is my baby. I will be the sole guardian." She nodded. "Understood. I'll start preparing the documents today." Second task, manage public opinion. I logged into my social account. The last post had over 5,000 comments, mostly attacking me. I didn't delete them, just took screenshots. Then I registered a new account. Simple name, Bella's True Story. My first post had one line, "The truth starts today." I uploaded the first piece of evidence, a photo of Mike and Chloe holding hands under company surveillance. Timestamped 8 months ago, right when I had just gotten pregnant. Caption, "He said he was working late that day." No insults. No explanations, just the facts. Within 10 minutes, hundreds had shared it. Some began questioning, "Wait, if this is 8 months ago, then Chloe's claim of just colleagues." Second evidence, restaurant photos. Third, email screenshots. I posted 3 to 4 updates a day, like telling a story, each with time, place, and proof. Public opinion slowly shifted. People began apologizing under my old account. Others started attacking Mike and Chloe. More dirt on Chloe surfaced. She hadn't just interfered with one marriage. Around noon, I got a call from an unknown number. "MS. Bella? I'm a reporter from the City Evening News. I'd like to interview you." "I'm not giving interviews," I said, "but I'll keep posting the truth on my account." But. I hung up. It was strange. I used to fear saying no, always trying to please everyone. Now, I had learned to say it. At 2 in the afternoon, Mom arrived. Tears fell as soon as she saw me, but she quickly wiped them away. "No crying. No crying, pregnant women can't cry." She brought hot soup, fruit, and a few loose maternity clothes. "The apartment is ready," she said. "You can move in anytime." I looked around the hotel room I'd stayed in for days. It had been a refuge. protecting me at my most vulnerable. But now, I didn't need a refuge. I needed a home. As I packed, I noticed a piece of paper on the nightstand. I hadn't left it there. It had a single line, written in strong, confident handwriting: if you need anything, anytime, Liam. No phone number, no date, but I knew who it was from. I folded the note and placed it at the bottom of my suitcase. Then, luggage in hand, I left the room with Mom. The hallway was quiet. Yesterday's chaos felt like a dream. The elevator arrived. Doors opened, empty inside. We stepped in and pressed B2. The parking level. The elevator descended. 16, 15, 14. The numbers dropped one by one. On the 10th floor, the elevator stopped. The doors opened. Someone stood there. It was Liam. Simple white shirt, black pants, carrying a folder. He froze when he saw us, then stepped back, signaling we go first. No need, I said. We'll take the next ride. Liam nodded and stepped inside the elevator. The doors slowly closed. At the last moment, he said, "You're brave." I looked at him. I just learned to live for myself. The doors shut completely. Mom looked at me. "That is, a friend," I said. The elevator continued down. 9, 8, 7. When it reached the first floor, the doors opened. This time, it was Director Wang and the female investigator, Ms. Bella. Director Wang said, "Good to see you. Don't forget tomorrow's interview at 10 in the morning." "I won't forget," I said. "Also," he handed me a USB drive. "This is Chloe's latest statement. She admitted to defamation and threats. It should help with your upcoming legal case." "Thank you," I said, taking it. "You're welcome," he said. "By the way, the evidence you posted, clever move. But be careful, some people might act desperately." "I will," I replied. The elevator doors closed again. B2. The parking lot was quiet. Only a few cars parked. Mom's white SUV was tucked in a corner, the trunk spacious. We loaded the luggage in. Before getting in, I glanced back at the elevator. Then I sat in the passenger seat and buckled up. Mom started the car. We drove slowly out of the parking lot into the afternoon sun. Along the streets, the sycamore leaves were turning yellow. Autumn had arrived. I gently touched my stomach. The baby moved, as if noticing the world outside. "Where to?" Mom asked. "Home," I said. The car merged into traffic and moved forward. In the rearview mirror, the hotel building grew smaller, finally disappearing around the corner. I didn't look back, because I knew the road ahead was long, and this time, I would walk it myself. 3 months later, I stood in front of the mirror, looking at myself. My belly was huge. The doctor said my due date was next week. But today, I had an important task. "Really don't need me to go with you?" Mom called from the living room. "No," I said, putting on my coat and checking the documents in my bag. "I can handle it myself." Today was the day to sign the divorce papers. Lawyer Lee was waiting for me at the courthouse. She saw me and quickly came over to support me. "Careful. The steps are slippery." "I'm fine," I said with a small smile, though inside I was nervous. We entered the building. The air conditioning hit us. Lawyer Lee led me to the mediation room on the 3rd floor. Pushing open the door, Mike was already inside. He looked completely different from 3 months ago, much thinner, deep dark circles under his eyes. His suit wrinkled. He immediately stood up when he saw me. "Bella, sit down." Lawyer Lee pulled out a chair for me, then opened the documents. "Mr. Mike, this is the final agreement. Please review." Mike didn't even look. He flipped to the last page and signed. "Aren't you going to read it?" I asked. "What's the point?" His voice was hoarse. "The prenup says I walk away with nothing. The house, savings, car, all yours. I'll pay monthly child support until the child is 18. He pushed the signed papers toward me. I picked up a pen and signed my copy. 2 names, side by side, Bella, Mike. Once husband and wife, now strangers. "The company," Mike suddenly said. I resigned. "The investigation is over. I'm moving to another city." I nodded. Silent. "The baby," he looked at my belly. "After birth, can I see him?" "Legal visitation rights will be observed," I said, "but only under my supervision." Mike gave a bitter smile. "You still don't trust me." "How am I supposed to?" I asked. He lowered his head, saying nothing. Lawyer Lee put the documents away. "Done." The official court judgment will be mailed to the address you provided within 2 weeks. We stood and walked out of the mediation room together. In the hallway, Mike suddenly stopped. Bella, he said. I'm sorry. I looked at him, the man I had loved and hated. Now, there was nothing left inside me. I accept your apology, I said, but I do not forgive you. Not because I hate you, but because forgiveness should be voluntary, not forced. Mike's eyes reddened. He nodded and turned away. I watched his back disappear around the stairwell corner, then told lawyerly, let's go. Outside the courthouse, the sun was bright. November was already chilly, but the sunlight felt warm on my skin. My phone rang. It was Director Wang, MS. Bella, good news. His voice sounded cheerful. Chloe's case is decided. Bribery, defamation, threats, multiple charges. 5 years. I leaned against a pillar at the courthouse entrance. Thank you for letting me know. Also, the internal company restructuring is complete. He continued. The new CEO really admires your designs and wants to know if you're interested in coming back. Of course, you can work from home until after the baby is born. I was speechless. I will think about it, I said. Take your time, Director Wang said. Also, the public opinion, the trending posts are gone. Now everyone knows the truth. Your account has over 100,000 followers, and many are supporting you. I opened the account called Bella's True Story. The last post, from 3 days ago, showed a design sketch with the caption, starting over, drawing again. Over 30,000 likes. More than 2,000 comments. Most were encouraging. Go Bella. Your designs are beautiful. Can't wait for your comeback. I turned off my phone and took a deep breath. Lawyerly drove me home. On the way, we passed the house Mike and I used to live in. It was now on the market. A sold sign posted at the door. The new owners move in next week. Lee said. The payment's already in your account. I looked at the house and remembered everything. Happy moments. Painful moments, all of it was in the past. The car kept moving forward. At home, Mom had lunch ready. While we ate, she asked cautiously, has Liam been in touch lately? I shook my head. Since that day in the elevator, Liam hadn't shown up again. But the note he left me, I kept it. Sometimes, when I couldn't sleep at night, I'd take it out and look at the bold L he had written. Like him, it carried a lot of untold stories. That's good, Mom said. You can do well on your own. That afternoon, I started packing the baby's things, tiny clothes, socks, hats, neatly folded into the hospital bag. I also packed the first onesie I had designed, a pale blue with a little star embroidered on the chest. The phone rang. This time it was an unknown number. I hesitated, then answered. MS. Bella? We're from the investment department at Deep Blue Capital, said a woman's voice. Professional and polite. We've noticed your design work and would like to invite you to participate in our creative incubator project. If you're interested, we can provide funding and resources. My hand froze midair. Deep Blue Capital. Liam's company. I need some time to consider, I said. Of course. I'll send the details to your email. Any questions? Don't hesitate to contact us. I hung up and sat on the edge of the bed, staring out the window. By evening, contractions began. They weren't intense. Just waves like a strong period cramp, but I knew it was time. Mom, I called. I think it's time. She rushed out from the kitchen. Really? Quick. Grab the bag. Let's go to the hospital. On the way, the contractions came more frequently. I bit my lip, breathing deeply like in childbirth class. At the hospital, the nurse checked me. You're 3 centimeters dilated. You can go to the labor room. Mom was stopped outside, waving through the glass. Alone in the labor room bed, the pain surged like tides. Terrible pain, but each time, I placed my hand on my belly and whispered, come on, we can do this together. I don't know how long it took, but finally the doctor came. You can go into the delivery room. Labor was harder and more beautiful than I imagined. When I used my last ounce of strength and heard that loud cry, tears streamed down my face. It's a boy, the nurse said, placing him in front of me. 6 pounds, 8 ounces. Very healthy, small, red-faced, eyes closed, but loud. I looked at this little life that had stayed in me for 9 months. It had finally arrived. The nurse cleaned him, wrapped him, and placed him beside me. I turned my head and looked at his tiny face. Hello, I whispered. I'm your mom. His little hand moved, as if he understood. 3 days later, we were home. The new apartment was cozy. Mom had set everything up: crib, changing table, rocking chair. I held the baby in the rocking chair by the window, gently rocking him. He slept, mouth moving as if drinking in a dream. My phone lit up, an email notification. It was the project details from Deep Blue Capital. I opened it. A great opportunity, ample funding, abundant resources, complete respect for creative freedom. I looked down at my baby again. Then I replied, I accept the invitation. 2 conditions. First, I lead the project. Second, I need flexible hours to care for my baby. Minutes later, the reply came, agreed completely. Looking forward to working with you. The sun was setting. Golden light poured through the window, filling the room with warmth. The baby woke, opening bright, star-like eyes. I gently stroked his tiny face. Baby, I said, Mommy's going to start working. I'll design beautiful things for both of us. Will you come along with me? He blinked, as if he understood. The doorbell rang. Mom opened it, a delivery package. No sender info. Inside was a tiny silver bracelet engraved with 2 characters, New Life, and a card, in familiar handwriting, for the bravest mom and the cutest baby, Liam. I carefully stored the bracelet in the baby's jewelry box. Then I held my baby and went to the balcony. The city lights flickered on, like stars on the ground. A gentle evening breeze blew. My baby in my arms, warm, real. I softly hummed a lullaby, the one my mom used to sing to me. Elevator doors opened and closed in the distance. People going up and down, and we, my baby and I, were here, in our own world, starting our own life. A true, new beginning. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any thoughts about this story, feel free to share them in the comments section. Here is Roses and Love, sharing stories about marriage and women every day. See you tomorrow.